Chainsaws roared before dawn. My 100-year-old oaks, the trees my grandfather planted, fell across my lawn like broken promises. I ran outside barefoot, screaming, while Linda Prescott stood smiling by the stump, clipboard in hand, calling it Restoring the View. I'm Rachel Hartman, single mom, third-generation homeowner on Cedar Ridge Lane, raising my daughter Emma in the house I inherited. Linda Prescott became HOA president last spring, campaigning on neighborhood beautification, while quietly rewriting bylaws nobody read closely. She'd mentioned my oaks before, calling them eyesores blocking sunset views from her newly built deck overlooking my backyard. I'd politely refused every offer to trim them, explaining they were protected heritage trees under county ordinance, not HOA jurisdiction. Linda's smile always tightened when I said no, like she was filing my defiance away for later use. That morning, contractors arrived with a work order bearing my signature. Forged, sloppy, the H nothing like mine. Linda claimed the HOA board approved emergency canopy management for community safety, though no meeting had ever occurred. I called the county recorder immediately. Heritage tree protections existed, meaning Linda had ordered an outright felony. She waved my outrage away, saying, "Rules are flexible when the president has vision," as if that settled everything. Neighbors peeked from windows, none daring to speak, because Linda controlled fines, liens, and reputations across Cedar Ridge. I filed a police report. The officer photographed stumps, forged paperwork, and Linda's smug face without a hint of concern. Linda retaliated within hours, mailing me a violation notice for unsightly landscaping debris, the very branches her crew left behind. She scheduled an emergency board meeting, painting me as the aggressor who'd threatened her contractors during the cutting. 2 board members, both indebted to Linda for waived fines, voted unanimously to fine me $800. I discovered Linda's deck permit had been approved suspiciously fast, backdated to predate my property survey by weeks. My neighbor Doris, quietly furious, admitted Linda had bullied her into silence over a fabricated fence violation years ago. I requested official HOA meeting minutes. Linda claimed records were under review, a phrase I'd later learn meant destroyed. She started parking her car across my mailbox access, insisting it was temporary construction staging for her renovation. Emma came home crying, saying kids at the bus stop repeated that Ms. Hartman broke HOA rules and lies. I realized Linda was coaching other families' children against mine, weaponizing gossip like she weaponized paperwork. My insurance adjuster confirmed the felled oaks were worth thousands, evidence Linda seemed utterly unbothered by revealing. I hired an attorney, Marcus Webb, who specialized in HOA overreach cases and smelled corruption within our first consultation. Marcus discovered Linda had increased dues twice that year, funneling extra funds toward landscaping consulting, her own side business. The forged signature analysis came back conclusive. Someone in Linda's inner circle had traced my handwriting from old HOA forms. Linda accused me publicly of harassment for hiring a lawyer, spinning victimhood at the next community potluck. I stayed composed, documenting everything, while she orchestrated glares and whispers meant to isolate me completely. Then I remembered something buried in my grandfather's old property deed, something Linda clearly never bothered researching. For 2 quiet weeks, Linda backed off, perhaps sensing Marcus circling closer to something she couldn't control. I focused on Emma, replanting a small garden where the oaks once stood, trying to reclaim peace. Doris started speaking to me again, cautiously sharing more stories about Linda's history of manipulation and favoritism. I pulled county archives on Cedar Ridge Lane, tracing the private road's original ownership back 3 generations. The deed confirmed it. My family had granted the neighborhood a revocable easement over Hartman Road, not permanent ownership. Linda's entire street, including her own driveway, depended on that easement to reach the public highway. Marcus explained calmly that revocable meant exactly that. My family could legally restrict access if terms were violated. Linda, unaware, escalated further, sending a lien notice threatening to seize my home over unpaid landscaping fines. I discovered she'd forged 2 more homeowner signatures on petitions supporting her deck expansion and tree removal. A whistleblower board member, tired of Linda's threats, secretly forwarded me the deleted meeting minutes and emails. The emails revealed Linda bragging to her husband about finally getting that view, no matter what it cost me. Her husband, a real estate attorney, replied warning her the tree removal exposed them to serious personal liability. Linda ignored him, doubling down, telling the board she'd handle Rachel Hartman before month's end. She organized a petition demanding my removal from community events, citing my lawsuit as disruptive to neighborhood harmony. I attended the next meeting anyway, presenting Marcus's findings on forged signatures and misappropriated HOA funds. Linda accused me of fabricating evidence, her voice cracking slightly under pressure for the very first time. The whistleblower board member finally spoke up publicly, confirming the deleted minutes and Linda's private threats existed. Gasps rippled through the room. Neighbors who'd stayed silent for years suddenly found their courage returning. Linda stormed out, declaring the meeting illegitimate, though nobody followed her out the door this time. That night, someone slashed my garden hose and left a note. Trees grow back, reputations don't. I filed a restraining order request, attaching the threatening note alongside Marcus's growing case file against Linda. Marcus drafted formal notice invoking my family's easement rights, effective immediately pending Linda's response within 30 days. Linda received the letter and laughed it off publicly, calling it empty threats from a bitter woman. I installed a locking gate at Hartman Road's entrance, legally permitted under the revocable easement terms. Contractors confirmed installation would finish Friday morning, precisely when Linda's movers were scheduled for her kitchen renovation. Doris texted me quietly, warning that Linda still didn't grasp the road wasn't hers to control. I felt something unfamiliar rising in me. Not rage anymore, but quiet, patient certainty that justice was coming. Emma asked if we were in trouble. I told her sometimes standing your ground looks scary before it looks brave. Marcus filed formal HOA fraud complaints with the county, attaching forged signatures, deleted records, and misused dues. Friday morning, delivery trucks lined up outside Cedar Ridge, honking uselessly against my newly locked gate. Linda sprinted out in pajamas, screaming that someone had vandalized community property and demanding immediate access. I calmly explained the road belonged to my family, and access required respecting the community's actual rules. She threatened to call police. Officers arrived, reviewed the deed Marcus provided, and confirmed everything was legal. Linda's kitchen contractors left, unpaid deposits lost, refusing to reschedule around her mounting reputation for chaos. Other trapped homeowners, furious at being blocked, finally turned their anger toward Linda instead of me. One neighbor shouted that Linda's forged signatures had used his name too, without his knowledge or consent. The county investigator arrived that same afternoon, confirming embezzlement charges tied directly to inflated landscaping invoices. Linda's husband, humiliated and legally exposed, filed for divorce publicly outside their own half-finished driveway. The HOA board called an emergency vote, removing Linda as president amid unanimous, thunderous approval from residents. A neighbor's phone video of Linda's meltdown spread through local Facebook groups within hours, titled Karen Exposed. Reporters from a local news station called, asking if I'd comment on the viral HOA scandal unfolding. Linda begged me for road access, insisting we'd always been friendly, conveniently forgetting the chainsaws and forged signatures. I offered one condition: full public confession, restitution for my trees, and resignation from any HOA involvement forever. Cornered, exposed, and out of allies, Linda signed the agreement Marcus placed calmly on my kitchen table. Within weeks, Linda sold her house at a loss, moving away quietly without a single neighbor's goodbye. The county fined her for embezzlement, and Marcus secured compensation covering both my trees and legal fees. New saplings now grow where the oaks once stood, and Hartman Road remains open, but only for those who respect it.